A dangerous hunt is about to begin, and this time, the enemy is closer than anyone expects. Episode 2 of Marshals is not just about chasing criminals, it is about uncovering secrets that could destroy the team from the inside. With Casey back in uniform and grief still fresh in his heart, the mission ahead will test his loyalty, his strength, and his past in ways he never saw coming. After the shocking events of the first episode, the Marshals team is thrown straight into another high-risk operation. Word spreads quickly about a powerful drug network moving through the region, using remote land and abandoned routes to hide its activity. This is not a small-time group. These criminals are organized, armed, and protected by people who know the land better than the law ever could. From the very start, it becomes clear that this mission will not be simple. Every step forward feels like walking into a trap, and the team knows that one mistake could cost lives. Casey enters this mission with a heavy mind and a guarded heart. Monica's death still hangs over him like a shadow, and even though he wears the uniform again, he is not the same man he was before. The pain has sharpened his instincts, but it has also made him more dangerous to himself. He notices things others miss, patterns in movement, strange behavior, and silent signals that suggest the criminals are already expecting them. This raises an uncomfortable question: has someone leaked information about the operation? As the team moves deeper into the investigation, they begin to realize that the drug network is connected to something bigger. This is not just about selling poison on the streets, it is about control, territory, and power. The criminals are using fear to silence witnesses and money to buy protection. People in nearby towns are too scared to talk, and those who do speak seem to disappear shortly after. This creates a tense atmosphere where trust becomes rare, and every new lead feels dangerous. Andrea starts to stand out during this mission. She shows sharp judgment and a calm attitude under pressure, which slowly earns Casey's respect. Their conversations grow longer, and small personal details begin to surface. Casey reveals more about his son and his struggle to stay strong after losing Monica. Andrea, in return, hints that she also carries her own pain from the past, though she is not ready to share it fully yet. This growing bond adds emotional weight to the mission, because it reminds Casey that even in a world full of violence, connection still matters. Pete Calvin also becomes more important in this episode. His focus on the mission is intense, almost too intense. He pushes the team harder than before, refusing to back down even when the risk increases. It becomes clear that this case means something personal to him. Small clues suggest that the drug trade may be tied to the tragedy in his own family, and that he is not just hunting criminals, he is hunting answers. This makes his decisions more aggressive and his leadership more dangerous, creating tension between him and the rest of the team. Meanwhile, the criminals begin to fight back. The Marshals discover that their movements are being watched, and a routine operation turns into a deadly game of cat and mouse. The enemy knows the land, the roads, and the hiding places. Every wrong turn could lead into an ambush. The pressure builds as the team realizes they are not just chasing criminals anymore, they are being hunted as well. At the heart of all this stands Casey, torn between his duty and his grief. He wants justice for Monica. He wants to protect innocent people. But he also fears what this path will turn him into. The words spoken to him before, that he is a protector, not a killer, echo in his mind as he faces enemies who show no mercy. Episode 2 begins to show that this story is not only about law and crime, but about what happens when pain becomes fuel for war. By the end of this section of the story, one thing becomes clear: this operation is only the beginning. The drug network is larger than expected, the team is walking into unknown danger, and the emotional wounds inside them are far from healed. The Marshals are stepping into a battle that will not end quickly, and the cost of victory may be far higher than they imagined. As the operation continues, the Marshals realize that the enemy they are facing is not just powerful, but also patient. This criminal network has been growing quietly for years, hiding behind ordinary businesses and using isolated land as cover for their illegal work. The team starts to uncover routes, storage points, and secret contacts, and with every discovery, the danger increases. What seemed like a single mission now feels like the opening move in a much larger war. The criminals are not running anymore, they are preparing to strike back. Casey becomes more deeply involved in the investigation, and his instincts prove critical. He senses that something about this case is different from the others. The way the suspects move, the way they communicate, and the way they disappear all suggest military-level planning. This worries him, because it means they are facing enemies who think like soldiers, not street criminals. At the same time, his personal life begins to clash with his duty. The grief over Monica's death pushes him forward, but it also pulls him into dangerous emotional territory. He is no longer fighting only for justice, he is fighting to give meaning to his loss. Tate's situation also becomes more important in this episode. While Casey is out risking his life, Tate is left to face his pain alone. The distance between father and son grows, even though both of them are trying to stay strong. Tate struggles with anger and confusion, and it becomes clear that he is afraid of losing his father the same way he lost his mother. This emotional tension adds another layer to the story, showing that the cost of this mission is not only paid on the battlefield, but also at home. The series begins to suggest that Tate's future will be shaped by what Casey chooses to do now. Andrea's role continues to grow as well. She proves herself in moments of pressure, and shows that she is not just smart, but also deeply observant. She notices the cracks in Casey's emotional armor and tries to reach him without pushing too hard. Their connection becomes one of the few calm spaces in the middle of chaos. At the same time, Andrea's own past starts to feel closer to the surface. Small hints suggest that she has lost someone to crime too, and that this job is her way of fighting back against the same kind of darkness that now surrounds Casey. Pete Calvin's behavior becomes more troubling as the episode moves forward. His need to finish this mission starts to override caution. The more clues they uncover, the more emotional he becomes, especially when anything reminds him of his daughter. His leadership turns sharper, and his decisions become riskier. This creates tension inside the team, as some begin to question whether he is thinking clearly or letting revenge guide him. The line between justice and personal revenge starts to blur, and the Marshals must decide how far they are willing to go to win. The criminals respond with fear and violence. Their presence becomes impossible to ignore, and the danger reaches a level where survival is no longer guaranteed. The Marshals are forced into situations where there is no easy choice, only the least deadly one. Trust inside the team is tested, and every move feels like it could be the last. The episode builds toward a moment where it becomes clear that this fight will not be resolved quickly. Instead of closing the case, the Marshals open a door to something far more dangerous. By the end of episode 2, the story shifts from a simple mission into a long-term battle. The team now understands that they are facing an enemy with deep roots, strong resources, and no fear of war. Casey stands at the center of this storm, trying to hold on to the idea that he is still a protector, not a weapon. But as the threats grow stronger and the losses become heavier, that belief will be harder to keep. Episode 2 does not bring peace, it brings a warning. The real fight has just begun, and once it starts, there may be no turning back.